Good morning, I'm Prarambha, Dahal. Let's begin with the main stories. Meeting of the task force formed to set terms of reference approved committee to investigate fraud of cooperatives held. Parliament meeting slated for today. Transitional justice not in the priority of political parties. Committee formed to recommend members at the Truth and Reconciliation Commission and the Commission of Investigation on Enforced Disappeared Persons remains incomplete. Israeli War Cabinet Minister Benny Gantz threatens to resign unless Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu sets out a post-war plan for the Gaza Strip, sets a June 8 deadline for a plan to achieve 6 strategic goals. And Chelsea thrashed Manchester United 6-0 at Old Trafford to secure a record 5th successive Women's Super League title in coach Emma Hayes' last match in charge. She will become the coach of US women's team. The task force of the Parliamentary Proof Committee that has been formed to investigate the cooperatives fraud scandal has intensified work to conclude the terms of reference of the committee. The meeting is underway at the Ministry for Law. The coordinator of the task force, Minister for Law Padam Giri, has said that the meeting will prepare a draft to finalize the jurisdiction and terms of reference of the committee. Yesterday's meeting between the ruling and the opposition parties had reached an agreement to form the Parliamentary Proof Committee. The 4-member task force that includes Congress Joint General Secretary Jeevan Pariyar, UML Chief Whip Mahesh Bartaula and lawmaker of Rashtriya Swatantra Party Shishir Khanal had been formed yesterday under the leadership of UML leader and Minister for Law Giri. Meeting of the House of Representatives is slated for today and will begin in a short while. Main opposition, Nepali Congress, had been obstructing the meetings of the House of Representatives with the demand of formation of a Parliamentary Proof Committee to investigate the alleged involvement of Deputy Prime Minister and Minister for Home Affairs, Rashtriya Swatantra Party Chairperson Ravi Lamichhane in the fraud related to cooperatives. As yesterday's meeting of the senior leaders had agreed to form the committee, today's meeting of the Parliament is likely to operate in a regular manner. The Parliament is to thank President Ramchandra Paudel for presenting the government's policies and programs, while Prime Minister Pushpakamal Dahal is to present the annual report of the government as provisioned by the Article 53 of the Constitution of Nepal 2015. The possible schedule also includes the presentation of a few bills as well. It is now time for our segment Public Pulse, where you text us with your opinion.
Public Pulse.
The question is, why has Prime Minister Pushpakamal Dahal said that condition would come for him to take the vote of confidence from time to time? Your options are A, move to change the alliance, B, indication of party split, and C, result of not having majority. The voting is on. Type NEWS, select your option A, B or C and send it to 34001 to share your opinion with us. With the National Human Rights Commission yet to assign members, committee formed to recommend officials at the Truth and Reconciliation Commission and the Commission of Investigation on Enforced Disappeared Persons has yet to gain a full shape. Despite the government forming a recommendation committee led by former Chief Justice Om Prakash Mishra to implement the order of the Supreme Court to appoint officials at both commissions issued a month ago, the recommendation committee is yet to gain a full shape as the commission has not assigned members. Bills related to transitional justice are not in the priority as the ruling parties are busy in political equations, while the main opposition has remained firm in its demand for formation of a Parliamentary Proof Committee to investigate the Home Minister. In our Public Voice segment, we have asked in several provinces why provincial governments have failed to utilize the budget allocated for development. Let us now take a look at what they had to say.
तीनै तहमा रहेका सरकारहरु चाहिँ फरक-फरक दलका भएका कारणले गर्दाखेरि चाहिँ यो विकास बजेट चाहिँ कार्यान्वयन नभएको
2-3 महिनामा सरकार बदलिन्छ हाम्रो नेपालमा के विकास हुँदो
प्रदेश सरकारमा पहिला त कर्मचारीहरुको अभाव छ भएका कर्मचारीहरु पनि लामो समयसम्म त्यहाँ नटिक्नु
कानुनी अवरोधका कारण ती कार्यक्रमहरु रोकिनुले पनि विकास नहुन सके
सबैभन्दा पहिला त अस्थिर सरकार नै हो
प्रदेश कार्यालयमा बसेर कर्मचारीहरु कामै गर्न मान्दैनन् हैन त्यसकारण पनि यो विकास बजेट चाहिँ सोचे अनुरूप खर्च हुन नसकेको
कुर्सी चाहिँ फेरबदल गर्ने को सत्तामा पुग्ने भन्ने खालको खिचातानीले चाहिँ प्रदेश सरकारको बजेट चाहिँ कार्यान्वयनमा समस्या देखिएको
जुन मन्त्रीहरु बनिरहेछ नि 20% 30% को चक्कर गरेर हैन विकासको काममा लगानी गरेर जो योजनाहरु बाँडफाँड गरेको हुन्छ त्यो योजना अहिलेसम्म कुनै ठेकदारले राम्रोसँग उपयोग गर्न सकेन।
It is now time for the international news. Israeli War Cabinet Minister Benny Gantz has threatened to resign unless Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu sets out a post-war plan for the Gaza Strip. Gantz set an 8 June deadline for a plan to achieve 6 strategic goals, including the end of Hamas rule in Gaza and the establishment of a multinational civilian administration for the territory. He said that if Netanyahu put the national over personal, he would find in them partners in the struggle. He added that if Netanyahu chose the path of fanatics and led the entire nation to the abyss, he would be forced to quit the government. Netanyahu dismissed the comments as washed-up words that would mean defeat for Israel. The war cabinet was established in the days following the 7 October attacks, which saw fighters from Hamas and other militant groups kill around 1,200 people and take another 252 hostages after entering Israel from Gaza. Mr. Gantz's comments come just days after another war cabinet member, Defense Minister Yoav Gallant, urged Netanyahu to state publicly that Israel had no plans to take over civilian and military rule in Gaza. Gallant said he had raised the issue repeatedly for months but had received no response. The episode shows a growing rift in the Israeli war cabinet and Netanyahu's government. Gantz and Gallant say the maintaining military control in Gaza would increase Israel's security risks, while others, including far-right members of Mr. Netanyahu's ruling coalition in the government, believe continued control is necessary in order to defeat Hamas. In a televised address on Saturday, Gantz told Netanyahu that people of Israel were watching him. Also among these 6 strategic goals he set out were the return of all Israeli and foreign hostages still held by Hamas in Gaza and the return of displaced Palestinian civilians to northern Gaza by 1st September. Campaigning in India's ongoing elections gathered pace, with Prime Minister Narendra Modi saying the election was about building a stronger India, while opposition leader Rahul Gandhi said protecting the constitution was central. Modi, seeking a third term, held a rally in capital city New Delhi, telling crowds the 2024 elections were to save people from the ideology and tradition of nepotism. Opposition leader Rahul Gandhi in a rally said Modi's ruling Bharatiya Janata Party was trying to destroy the country's constitution. Sonia Gandhi, the leader of India's Congress Party and Rahul Gandhi's mother, made an emotional appeal to voters in the family borough, asking them to vote for her son, who is standing in a region that Modi and his party have dominated in the last 10 years. The 2024 national election covers 543 seats in the Lok Sabha, the lower house of parliament, that will be held in 7 phases between April 19 and June 1, with vote counting on June 4. Now, at least 50 people are dead following a fresh bout of heavy rain and flooding in central Afghanistan, an official has said. Maulavi Abdul Hazaim, the head of the information department for the central Ghor province, told Reuters that there was no information about how many people were injured in the rain spell that began on Friday, which had also cut off many key roads to the area. Video released by the province's information department showed a man being pulled from a house destroyed by the flood, leaving him trapped under the debris. It is now time for the sports news.
Sports news.
A virtuoso performance from striker Maria Ramirez set Chelsea on course for a 6-0 rout of Manchester United at Old Trafford to secure a record 5th successive Women's Super League title in coach Emma Hass's last match in charge. Chelsea finished the season on 55 points, level with Manchester City, but 7 ahead of them on goal difference, and the final whistle prompted an outpouring of joy from the travelling fans as Hayes got the send-off she deserved. Ramirez grabbed the opening goal for Chelsea after 89 seconds, heading home a brilliant cross from Guro Reitan, and she set up Johanna Retting Kanyard for a second 6 minutes later as the hosts struggled a week after their FA Cup final win over Tottenham Hotspur. Colombian international Ramirez continued to dominate, teeing up Shoika Nusken for the third in the 44th minute before slamming home a second in first-half stoppage time. Any chance of Chelsea being caught by Manchester City effectively ended when Meline Leopolds added a 5th 2 minutes later after the interval to turn the remainder of the match into a victory parade. United's players never got to the grips with their rampant opponents, failing to register a shot on target against the team they defeated in the FA Cup semi-finals as they slumped to their heaviest ever league defeat. Playing her final match for the club, substitute Fan Kirby came off the bench in the 72nd minute and added the 6th to secure a 7th league title for Hayes, who after 14 years in charge is leaving to become the coach of United States women's national football team. Brighton and Hove Albion coach Roberto De Zerbi will leave the club after their final match of the season against Manchester United, the Premier League club has said. De Zerbi joined Brighton in September 2022 when he replaced Graham Potter and made an instant impact when he secured their highest top-flight finish at 6th and helped them qualify for European competition for the first time. This season, Brighton reached the last 16 of the Europa League but struggled in the Premier League, where they are 10th going into the final day of the season this evening. The Italian manager earned plaudits for an entertaining brand of football based on possession, while he also nurtured young talents who were able to thrive in his system even as the club lost major players to bigger teams. Meanwhile, the game week 38 matches of the English Premier League are slated for 8:45 p.m. this evening Nepal time. Substitute Leo Campana scored in the 4th minute of second half stoppage time to lift Lionel Messi's sluggish-looking Inter Miami squad to a 1-0 victory over DC United in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. Campana had entered the match just a minute before, scoring his 3rd goal of the season. He was making his 12th appearance. Drake Callender made 3 saves to record his 4th clean sheet of the year and his 2nd in a row after Miami played to a goalless draw at Orlando City in a match that Messi missed because of a knee injury. 8 of Miami's wins have now come with Messi in the lineup, and the Herons have not been shut out when the superstar forward sees the field. But Messi, who has 10 goals and an MLS leading 12 assists on the season, rarely looked threatening on a night that included oppressive conditions with intense rain stifling creative play early. Sweltering heat also resulted in a first-half hydration break. Goalkeeper Alex Bono made 2 stops for DC United, who have now lost back-to-back matches despite a much improved defensive showing following a 4-1 home loss to the New York Red Bulls on Wednesday night. Sergio Busquets provided a long service from midfield stripe. Campana tossed the ball down on the run with the side of his foot, then unleashed a ferocious half volley that struck the underside of the crossbar on its way across the goal line. Now, Iga Swiatek defeated Aryna Sabalenka 6-2, 6-3 to win her 3rd Italian Open title as the Pole came out on top once again in a battle between the top 2 in the women's rankings following her Madrid Open triumph earlier this month. The title was the 21st of Swiatek's career as the world #1 sounded out a warning. Swiatek broke Sabalenka twice in the opener, where the Belarusian conceded 12 unforced errors in a lopsided start to the match. At 3-all in the second set, the Pole broke again in back-to-back games, this time ensuring her path to victory. The first Great Wall Marathon since the start of COVID in 2019 took place in Beijing as more than 800 participants braved temperatures as high as 28 degrees Celsius and a grueling course in China's capital city. The event, according to organizers Albatross Adventure Marathons, offers 3 distances including a marathon, half marathon and an 8.5 kilometers fun run. 818 participants from 58 countries took part, with the biggest group being from the United States with 88 runners. This year, 366 people ran the full marathon, with 352 completing the half marathon and another 100 crossing the finish line in the fun run category. Something very interesting now. It is one of the contests everyone would like to win. South Koreans shut their eyes and got comfortable for a sleeping contest aimed at raising awareness on the importance of rest in a nation that scores among the lowest sleep quality in the world. The Power Nap contest was held at the Han River Park in Seoul, where about 100 people, some dressed in sleepwear, gathered to get some competitive shut-eye for 1 hour and 30 minutes.
원래 저희가 평일에 야근도 많이 하고 피곤해서 주말에 집에서 자기만 하는데 우연히 이렇게 주말에 나와서 잠을 자면서 일제 할 수 있는 대회가 있다고 해서 부부끼리 참가하게 됐습니다.
저희 나라가 평소에 아무래도 좀 경쟁도 치열한 사회이기도 하고 수면에 대한 중요성이 좀 더 덜 중요시 되고 있는 것 같아요. 그래서 이런 대회를 통해서 그런 사회적 인식도 좀 개선되고 근무 시간도 좀 더 단축돼서 현대인들이 충분한 숙면을 취할 수 있게 되면 참 좋지 않을까 이런 생각이 듭니다.
Various distractions such as feather tickling, whispering and mosquito noises were used to challenge the participants. Heart rate measurements were taken to determine the winner. The larger the deviation between the heart rate before and during the nap, the better the sleep quality.
지금 한국이 OECD 국가 중에 낮은 수면 시간을 기록하고 있다고 하는데 저희가 이렇게 이벤트를 만듦으로써 억지로 휴식을 취하고 그 효과를 느끼면서 사람들이 낮잠의 효과를 느끼지 않을까 그리고 그 중요성을 느끼지 않을까라고 생각을 합니다.
The organizers said the event aims to provide sleep-deprived individuals a space to take a break. For those who took part, they are hoping that this will bring more attention to the need for better sleep habits in South Korea.
저는 우선은 의상 컨셉은 집에서 평상시에 자는 복장으로 가장 그냥 편하게 와서 잤는데 이렇게 뽑힐 줄 몰라서 되게 얼떨떨하고 되게 신기한 것 같아요. 네.
According to South Korea's National Assembly, the country records the lowest average sleep duration among OECD nations, with citizens averaging just 7 hours and 41 minutes of sleep per night, significantly lower than the OECD average of 8 hours and 22 minutes. And now, before we wrap up, here's a look into the top stories one more time. Meeting of the task force formed to set terms of reference approved committee to investigate fraud of cooperatives held. Parliament meetings slated for today. Transitional justice not in the priority of political parties. Committee formed to recommend members at Truth and Reconciliation Commission and Commission of Investigation on Enforced Disappeared Persons remains incomplete. Israeli War Cabinet Minister Benny Gantz threatens to resign unless Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu sets out a post-war plan for the Gaza Strip, sets an 8 June deadline for a plan to achieve 6 strategic goals. And Chelsea thrashed Manchester United 6-0 at Old Trafford to secure a record 5th successive Women's Super League title in coach Emma Hayes' last match in charge, Hayes to become coach of the US Women's National Football Team. That is all for the moment. Our next news bulletin is at 6 p.m. Thank you for staying with us. Have a beautiful day ahead.